Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to Alatra TV Middle East. And today we have a very special guest from Dubai, UAE. Please meet Carine Bouery, a qualified graphic designer, design thinker, a performing artist, an actor since she was 5 years old. Wow. Hello, Karine. Being such a creative person, we would like to talk today about the true role of mass media, how important it is to create content which will positively impact audience, and we will also touch the questions whether in the creative society there will be equal opportunities for everyone to develop his or her talents. And we will find out more about our guest, and together we will talk about the foundations of a creative society. And I'm so happy that today's broadcast I'm co-hosting with Sami from Dubai. Sami, hello. How are
Hi,
you?
Elena. So happy to see you. And we, as well as the audience, are super lucky to have Karine. Such an amazing guest today we have, for sure.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yes, absolutely. Because today we will talk about how to create a happy environment. And I think that Karine and Sami are exactly those people who can help us in it. Because I know how positive they are. And our Sami was a guest of our interview some time ago. I'm sure that you all have seen this interview because it was amazing. It was fun. And today we are going to talk also about the creative society, our main topic. And for those viewers who are joining us for the first time, I would like to remind that this global project was launched on the platform of Alatra International Public Movement. And people from more than 180 countries of the world are conducting social surveys, live interviews. They organize conferences and roundtables to find out how people envision the society where everyone is happy, the society where we all live prosperously and feel safe. And whether we want to live in such a society, of course. And before we start, I'd like to address our dear viewers. Please feel free to leave your comments and questions in live chat on YouTube, and the most interesting ones we'll ask at the end of this broadcast.
And the best part is that the name Creative Society. Why is it a creative society? Because creativity is the ultimate goal anyone can reach. It's the perfection. It's what makes us so unique as humanity. And together we experience a philosophy of the six handshake, trying to meet professional, successful people from all around the globe and collect their thoughts and input about what would make a society creative society. So the six handshake concept is very simple. Anyone you would meet around this world, you are distant from him by six people you know. And the way I was reached through someone who knew me is the way I connected Karine to this beautiful movement. And today we are going to experience this amazing, powerful woman in vision and creativity approach, Carine Bouery. Welcome to our show, and thank you very much for accepting our invitation.
Thank you for having me. And
Now,
thank you for this introduction. It didn't have to be so big, but thank you.
You're definitely an amazing guest. And I wanted to ask you, please tell us and our viewers a little bit more about yourself. I know you, I'm so excited to have you, but tell the viewers, why am I so excited to have you? Tell us about yourself, about your global goal in this life.
Wow, this is a global and big question, actually. But to kind of summarize who I am in this big global piece, we don't know that we as human beings are worlds of our own. And being worlds of our own, we also have other worlds we're impacting. We're such a small reflection of what's out there, right? We are on this planet. We've got other planets that we're interacting with. We are in this galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy. We're interacting with other galaxies out there. The universe is so huge. So we as human beings, we are these small worlds making connections with other worlds. So what is my world? My world is, first I'll begin with my superpowers, which by the way took me so much time to understand and to really clarify, because this is getting to know yourself is a continuous work and effort. So my superpowers are creativity. I always like to say that I am a creative human being. I was born with a lot of creative talents and skills, which unfortunately I didn't really harness and foster, but I did take it to other directions. Two, agility. So just throw me in a place where there's a lot of chaos, and I will find a way to pick myself up and adapt and remold myself and pivot and do what it takes just to start navigating this new world order. And three is synchrony. I have this amazing ability to take different ideas, different elements in the world, and put them together and create something new out of them. So in a way, like recycling. And if I were to sum up who I am as a person, I definitely think, like I think of everybody else in this world, that we are multi-talented, we're multifaceted. We're not just one person, or we don't just wear one hat. We wear so many hats. We have so many skills yet to be uncovered. We don't know them, but they're in there. But for simplicity's sake, I'll just say you can sum me up in these four C's, like my name, Carine, in C. So Carine is the creative. I've got a graphic design qualification. I've done my master's in innovation recently, and I've taken a lot and implemented some design thinking principles in my life as a result of it. And I am an artist also by nature. So I was born with an affinity and tendency towards music. I draw, I paint, and my biggest passion today is acting. So I'm an actor as well. So that's Carine as a creative. Carine is a communicator. So she's been, so from graphic design, from visual communications, she's evolved into doing marketing communications or corporate communications, internal communications, external communications, dealing with media. I've also become a public speaker, and that's how I met you, Sami, through the Toastmasters International Network, which helped me also harness my skills in public speaking, my confidence, and all of that. I've done some speeches in different parts of the world, not too many. So here in the UAE, of course, in India and Costa Rica, speaking about happiness, tolerance, and work relationships especially, and how we need to get intentional about that. So that's Carine as a creative, as a communicator. I'm also a consultant. So at some point I was an independent consultant. In a way, I am still a consultant in advising people and advising businesses on how to create more positive employee and customer experiences. And then there's Carine as a coach. All my life, self-development has been a #1 goal for me. And it's something I woke up to at the age of 10. I started reading books about the law of attraction, and especially on how to develop self-confidence, because I did suffer from low self-esteem growing up. And there are many reasons for that. We'll not get into them now. But I woke up to this concept of self-development, of spirituality. I had very strong faith. So I took a lot of the principles of my faith and combined it with my self-development journey. And in this journey, I've done certifications in neuro-linguistic programming, in the science of happiness, in of course applied neurosciences, where now I'm really looking at the brain and how it impacts every single thing we do in our lives, even the events we encounter externally. So our brain is such a powerful organ, and as a later stage I'll be looking into the heart and so forth, and the gut, this beautiful 3 intelligence systems that we really need to start looking at and using them to change the world. And so I've done these certifications. I've helped my friends, my family members ad hoc conversations sometimes, and I help coach people to thinking about their life in a different way, asking more effective questions, and really getting things out from people rather than feeding them in with information, because we do carry so much knowledge, we do carry so much intelligence that we're unaware of. And that's why coaching is such a powerful industry now. We see that on a life level, and even on a business level, leaders are asked to become coaches. So that's me in a nutshell. This is Carine, and I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. That's really awesome. That's just epic. And can you please tell me, Carine, from your experience, you've met so many people, you traveled a lot. What unites all people in the world, despite differences in nationalities, belonging to different religions, races? What unites all of us internally?
In my opinion, what unites all of us is the need to be respected and valued. I think to a very great degree, we all question ourselves. There's nobody who's really confident about themselves 100%. That's impossible. We all question ourselves, our beliefs. Of course, maybe I'm not I'm not talking about a group of people who are extremists, for example, or the ones who are psychologically maybe diagnosed as unstable, or because these people have a world of their own. They're wired differently in their brains, and so probably yes, the confidence is huge. Overconfidence is huge. But I'm talking in the generic population. What I've noticed is the moment I give attention, 100% quality attention to anyone, and really listen, they automatically open up and give me so much. You see it in their eyes, you feel it in their heart, and they feel so respected by you just by simply giving them attention. People feel today probably irrelevant, especially now because there's so much change happening. And with that change, we have to change. If we stick to what we know and what we have already, but the change is fast, we look and we see that with the pace of technology. If we don't change and we don't pace ourselves and we don't evolve and expand, then the idea of being irrelevant, being useless in a society, I think is the greatest fear. So firstly, paying attention to people makes them feel great, gives them this push, this motivation. And then by you pushing them, while they do their work too, to push themselves, they then evolve. So it's not just an individual effort, it's a collective effort. Human beings were meant to connect socially and help, be of service. We are here to be of service to each other. And that's what people don't realize and don't know, that this has come naturally. But we have lost this because of this fast-paced, crazy evolution of life that has led us to a place, unfortunately, of immorality. And that's where we are. So people need to feel respected, valued, and they need to feel relevant.
Absolutely, absolutely. Respected and valued. You just pointed to the most important 2 points that most people sometimes compromise on.
Yeah.
Okay, Carine, you are an envisioning leader, and I want to take advantage of this multi-talent you express in one letter, which is C. I'll ask you, if happiness and comfort is living is the ultimate goal of everyone, how would Carine Bouery envision a creative society? How do you envision the creative society?
Having happiness and comfort as our ultimate goal. Yeah. Yes. Very good question. And it goes back to what you were talking about now, is if we can find a way to live in harmony, there's a beautiful study out there called the Happy Planet Index. And that index shows that globally we need 4 things in life, or we want 4 things to at least live in a decent way. Of course, happiness is on top of that list, health and wealth, and I believe love. These are the 4 things that people want to live in a decent way. And these 4 things are the top 4 things that run across all the world. I highly encourage you to check out Happy Planet Index and see the different statistics on that. But these are the 4 things. So if we want these, happiness, health, wealth, and love, why aren't we working hard enough to achieve them or to have them? We actually do have them, but it's about accessing them. And why don't we access them? That's because we are built in a way, unfortunately, our brain has been wired for so long to be in survival mode. Since the caveman days, we only wanted to survive. We were always under a kind of threat of being killed, eaten, or even going hungry. So our ultimate focus was to find food, was to survive. That evolved into having a family to support that. Then it became about protection and protection of your loved ones. That in us built the skill of empathy. By being empathetic, we were able to build families and societies and communities and countries. They even say the dog is actually a descendant of the wolf, and that the dog became a dog, a species on its own, because the wolf realized that it could live in harmony with human beings as soon as it calmed down and tamed itself and became more loving with the human being. This is an article I read some time ago. Of course, maybe we need to read up more about it, but to me it makes sense, you know? So empathy has made us come to this point where we're also overpopulated. And, you know, because of empathy, we've created healthcare systems that will support the healing and recovery of human beings. But this is now on a very high level look. Of course, there are many levels to that. So when you have these 4 things in your life and you work on yourself to remove the blocks that block you from accessing them, then only we can have a creative society. And to have a creative society, it has to be done collectively, because we are all wired so uniquely. Every person has an amazing thinking style or leadership style or creativity style that is infinite. And when we have respect towards each other, only then can we access these different talents and gifts by everyone and then use them for our collective benefit. So it really starts by putting these 4 things, these 4 goals at the ultimate objective, working to remove the blocks within you that create this block to access them, and putting in more empathy and respect towards our fellow human beings, and then we can start to see collective creativity.
It's very beautiful. It's all about people feeling that they are united and they are all looking for happiness, and they are looking for protection, for prosperity. And yeah, that actually we feel that we can do it but we don't sometimes understand how we can do it like globally, right? Like individually, we kind of manage to solve it, certain people, but not all of ours. But globally, how to do it globally? Because happiness is like a global feeling. I'm not really absolutely happy, then I know that there are people suffering because of the empathy which you mentioned, because I feel we are all united, and that's very powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Carine.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you the question about the social media, as it's like one of, as you mentioned, your main profession, your specialty. Of course, today it's already well known that social media is one of the biggest marketing platforms. And of course, everyone knows that it's one of the most powerful tools in information exchange. How can it be used in order to transform and build such a creative society?
Very nice question. You know, with my social media platforms, for example, I see that there's a lot of debate going on about social media and why it was actually created. If you look at the work of Yuval Noah Harari, who is the author of The Sapiens, there is another name as well. If once I remember, I will mention his name. He's the social media, more like not, he's anti-social media guru of Silicon Valley. Actually, I'll try and remember his name. You know, the reason why social media was created was, again, to understand the world better. It probably started with empathy. People wanted, or the people who created social media, they first started with empathy, meaning they were thinking, how can we help make the world a better place? How can we connect people, you know, in a way that will bring them happiness and health and wealth and love, right? So you see the online dating sector, you see the likes of Facebook connecting people from all around the world, you see Twitter with their news, advocacy. So it's yes, anything that new that comes into the world probably starts, and most likely starts, with empathizing with others and what others need. But what happens along the line, this is where things start to deviate. The ultimate goal, or the initial goal of empathy, suddenly starts to disappear, because it becomes all about commercial gain. It becomes about social comparison. It's about power. And there are many studies out there that show that when you are in a position of power, your empathetic circuitry in your brain is deteriorated or is redirected. So your empathetic circuitry is no longer working, because your need for power is very strong, and now a new circuitry is performing to a point where you no longer feel empathetic or sympathetic with your fellow human beings. So and then you have, and we've seen all these trials with Zuckerberg, right? From Facebook, of how he just keeps stealing data from people, breaching the privacy rights of people, all for the sake of providing the data to companies who want to reach their customers even more closely, more intimately. And I'm sure we're all realizing, for example, we're having a simple conversation about a TV series, all of a sudden on YouTube, you get a video pop up on your newsfeed about this TV series. Now, how is that? They are now listening to us. So, but you know what? There's no running away from it. This is the reality of life. We are living in this reality, and we need to learn how to live this reality. And hence, I'm going to answer your question. So, for me, I use social media to share positive news, be it externally from other sources, be it from me, some achievements I made and how that could impact them. So this is a very important thing. I realized that it's not, social media, it shouldn't be just about highlighting your achievements. You know, hey, I got promoted. Hey, I graduated. But why people do that? Because it's a happy time. And in case you notice, people love to share. Yeah, people love to share their happy moments with others and then hope to get the same response, from others. Unfortunately, not everybody likes to share your happy moments. You could be innocently coming in and sharing your happy times, but there are others who are jealous, others who are envious, others who are greedy and want the life that you have. There are many, many different kinds of people out there. We don't know what they each went through personally or suffered, and what kind of traumas they have to have made them become the way that they are, be haters, envious, jealous people, so forth. But from my perspective, social media, whether it's a good or bad thing, it should be used for good. If we want to start really influencing others and impacting others, we use it for good, to show them how our existence can be good for them. So I'm not going to focus just on my achievements. I'm going to focus on what I know and put it out there. This is what's important. And that's why content creation is really important. And content creation is about creating content that's of value to people, to help them become better human beings. That's what companies are recognizing and realizing, and that's why they're humanizing themselves. There's now a human behind companies, behind the brands. They need to speak the language of the common people, and they need to give them something of value. Not say that, hey, we're the greatest, we're the best, we're this, we're that, and we're on the stock market, so invest in us. It's really not about that. And that's what you call a pull strategy, pulling people towards you. And really, when you use that kind of strategy, you're pulling the right kind of people to you, not just whoever. You're pulling people who want to join you on your mission because they have the same mission. And what's important is always remember to be humble and support them as well on their mission. So if they need help, be there for them. And that's how me and Sami developed this relationship. We realized we're two individuals. We have the same view of the world and how we want the world to be. And we each have our different sets of skills and strengths, but we have come together, and Sami has helped me so much. And I hopefully have helped Sami in the same way.
Absolutely.
And we've become, and this is where you start to build your circle of trust. It starts with you, your own little circle. And if we can start building one circle at a time, slowly, slowly, we will start changing the world. We will start having more trust in the world, something that is completely lacking. And then going back to social media, always remember to use it for good and not for bad. And always encourage people, give them compliments. We don't give each other compliments enough. Tell them, great job, cheers. Why do you think employee engagement platforms are doing very well in companies today? Because they have that option also where you can send cheers to your colleagues. You can send a clap, a well done. You know how much people love that? And why do they love that? Because deep down inside, they need that reassurance that they're good enough. We all suffer from not being good enough, at least in our minds.
Absolutely.
And it is our responsibility to show the whole world that every single one of you is good enough. You're amazing and unique in your own way. And
Absolutely.
That's what social media must be used for.
That's the words of an expert in marketing telling us that we shouldn't run away from social media and we should embrace it and use it to the best of our principles and ability. And I love, what I love the most is when you stated clearly that we need respect, we need acknowledgement, and social media does give us that chance to acknowledge each other's achievements and give you that little thumbs up which keep you running. And for us, Carine, you are a marketing specialist, you are a marketing expert, and we need to take advantage over your experience on board. Now, imagine yourself a marketing director, and your responsibility is to help the creative society use digital marketing to the best level of its ability. What would be your strategy to make the best use of digital marketing to tell more people around the world about the creative society and its principles.
Yes.
And I want you to take your moment because we are taking an advice of an expert here. So I want you to think, what is that three things that if creative society used, or three tools that if we used from digital marketing, we will reach more number of people in the coming days and week than we are reaching today?
Okay.
Great question.
Three things. Okay, let me answer the first
It's
part of your
challenging,
question.
right?
Yeah. Let me answer the first part of your question. As an organization, if I were a marketing director in an organization, it's so important for me to understand why my organization exists in the first place. Why did it come into being? Why? So there's a reason why this company was created. It was created to solve a problem. It's usually to solve a problem, okay? Or to fill a gap in the market. So if I were to give an example of, a renewable energy company, right? They're coming up more, where there's a lot of research and development going on in the renewable energy sector, which I'm very proud to say I'm working in at the moment. So I'm expanding now my all the knowledge and including my happiness skills into now giving to the environment as well, not only to people, because we need to create a clean environment for people to flourish, right? And to be able to live decently and in the best health and with the best health. So why is a renewable energy company existing? Because they see a big problem in climate, in our climate conditions. Climate change has been at the tip of our tongues for the last decade, and nobody has been listening. And now COVID has come and changed everything we know about health. Not just about the human health, but really pushed our understanding of climatic health. So first, it's understanding why is this organization existing? What is the ultimate, what kind of provision or what kind of solutions will it provide to answer the why? So we've got the why. I am here to create a healthier environment. This is why my company exists. Then, first, so you see the why. Of course, we all know Simon Sinek's why, and he really puts the nail on the head there. Then we need to understand our values as an organization. What kind of culture do we want to have? Is it a culture based on togetherness, on passion, on collaboration? And then once we know our values, what behaviors or sets of behaviors we need to see in an organization in order to reflect these values. Now, why am I saying this? So we've got the purpose, we've got the values, and we got the sets of behaviors which make culture, okay, the culture. So as a marketing director who wants to enhance the quality of life through creative society, I need to understand these three major levels in my organization and align it to the same three levels of the creative society. So as you, the creative society, going on to the second part of your question, Sami, you need to look at your three things all the time. Sometimes it's very clear, but then with the roll of life and the speed of life, we sometimes lose track. And when we lose track, and now with this pandemic, where things plateau and you realize, I'm lost, this is a chance for you to pause and think again and reassess why you were here in the first place, what you're trying to do, what are the values you reflect, and how you're going to demonstrate them on a tactical level, on a on-land level or digital level. So before we start talking about digital tactics in marketing, first, let's on a company level and from a nonprofit organizational level, which I believe you are, you're sort of like an NGO in a way, you're more like a humanitarian, maybe social cause type of company. A company should come and say, where do I align with the creative society? If for example, as a renewable energy company, it's about innovation. We need to start innovating or creating very simple renewable energy solutions on a human level to help people in poor countries. So how do we help them create solar panels? You know, how do we make homemade solar panels? And how do we help these poorer societies who have no access to money, who have no access to technology? So this is where, my purpose is to bring renewable energy into the world so I can clean up the environment. But in order to do that, I need to help people do that. And from a creative society point of view, if we are to empower people, these are the kind of people I want to empower as a company. So alignment is very important. Alignment of purpose, values, and sets of behaviors or culture is very, very important. And here as a culture, so as a creative society, this is where you can start creating content around how you've collaborated with such companies to create creative societies, to empower people to be creative. You know, people in remote Amazon jungles or in African communities or in Nepal, or how, so creating stories like this of using companies to be your partners in your journey and using a lot of video, because video is a wonderful, wonderful platform that attracts people in the heart. You have to know, of course, know how to create the video with beautiful music, with a wonderful script, and with a powerful message that touches the heart. It's really important to touch the heart. And really, that's the key to connecting with people. So use the power of YouTube and video platforms to create such content, build your followingship based on that. And believe me, you will build it organically, not by paying people to come and watch your content, or having some bots or robots, do that for you, or whatever are out there. Trolls, they call them trolls as well. So this is how you build your organic reach, by providing content of value that touches the heart, most importantly. And then think about how you can create a platform that allows them to be members, where you empower people to become members, or and then give them a pathway, like in Toastmasters, Sami. What is that program called? Pathway?
Yeah.
And Toastmasters. So it's a wonderful concept that you, as a speaker and as a leader, you come in. For example, you just want to be a motivational speaker, or somebody else wants to be a body language expert, or another person wants to be a mediator or facilitator or negotiator in very sensitive or confidential scenarios. So Pathways first assesses your needs and then tells you, this is the path you need to follow. You need to complete these courses or these presentations or these kind of exercises for you to be eligible for the next step, and then become an expert in body language or an expert in motivational speaking, right? So think about, as a creative society, maybe building that membership platform and then asking people what kind of creative endeavors you want to do. Do you want to do it in the arts? Do you want to do it in charity? Do you want to do it in engineering? Give them different spaces where they can uncover their gifts and their talents through these different spaces, and then guide them by providing a journey of development for them, just like the pathway concept in Toastmasters. So, and then you see, there will be people who will be engaged. There will be others who won't be, but usually the 20% of your population will be the one giving you the most. So it's the 20-80, if you know the 20-80 rule. So reach out to as many people as possible. Give them the autonomy. So reach out, meaning through your digital landscape, be it YouTube, be it Facebook, be it LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very powerful. YouTube is very powerful. Facebook is still powerful. Twitter, definitely use it as a channel to link or to guide them to go to YouTube, for example. because also if you're planning to make some money out of it, YouTube has this wonderful affiliation program where the more viewers you get, they will pay you some money for using your platform to help other people advertise on your platform as well, or other companies advertise on your platform, and you can share that revenue with these companies. I don't know how much autonomy you have or decision making you have in terms of choosing the kind of companies you'd like to advertise with you. That would be amazing, because then, talking again about alignment of purpose and value, you get to choose the companies that make sense to you as a creative society and have them join you. And then give people the autonomy to choose which pathway to go for, and then watch the magic happen. And that's it. Let it be. Then let it be, and then see, because the outcomes will dictate the next steps you need to take. We have to be always ready to pivot and to start a new direction all the time. There's no one size fits all approach. Never. Not in marketing, not in relationships, not in love, not in anything in this world. So it's what you put in, and then you see the outcome. And based on the outcome, you start again with reassessing, reevaluating, and retrying.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Carine.
I hope that answered your question, Sami.
Oh, big time,
yeah,
big
absolutely.
Time. Thank you very much. Detailed.
Yes. Thank you. And talking about the creative society, okay, what can a creative society give to people? Actually, it's a global project. It's a project for every human being, and the creative society can give people those 8 foundations, which are at the same time the pillars on which the creative society can be built. And I would like to introduce them to our viewers, because they can be those pillars which unite all people, as well as you said, as you mentioned before, in simple words, like sharing is caring, and the more we care about,
sharing is connecting too.
Is connecting also. The more we care about each other, the more we are doing our best to change our society, the more flourishing it becomes, actually, and everyone is happy in such a society. So I would like to introduce these 8 pillars to our viewers. So they are human life, human freedom, human safety, transparency and openness of information for all, the creative ideology, which we touched today, it's an important topic, development of personality, justice and equality, and self-governing society. So these are the pillars. Actually, if you want to read more about them, you're more than welcome to visit webpage allatraunites.com, and you will find an article, the foundations of the creative society and the stages of its construction. So you can read in details about it on the webpage.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Definitely the statement that you started your talk with it, Carine, you said, we are individually a small worlds living together. And the reality is, each one of us is a society by itself, from inside out. And there are, if we look at these 8 principles, we realize that these are what makes anyone creative. If you are enjoying freedom, you are creative. If the freedom is taken out from you, you're not creative.
Yes.
The same goes with all these principles. No one can be creative if he's not transparent. No one can be creative if he's not self-governing himself. No one can be creative if we don't believe in justice. And henceforward, the 8 principles came to talk to us and remind us that we need to find people who are living these 8 principles already. And someone like Elena and yourself, Carine, and many other guests I have been lucky to meet and lucky to be interviewed by, we all share the same principles. We all share the same values at our own level. And we want to unite so that this can become a way of living, a society way of living. And when we reach there, we begin to have the creative society. Now, it's a person like you who actually living values and living principles in your life and never compromise on your values, we would like to hear from you on the foundation number 5 when these 8 pillars that we spoke about, the creative ideology. We know that ideology is the start of peace or violence. Ideology is the start of a self-acceptance or self-rejection. What is, in your opinion, what do you think can be the creative ideology as a principle if you to advise people to apply it in their lives? What would be the 5th foundation, the creative ideology, in your opinion?
The creative ideology. You know, Sami, every time, you know, let me first kind of rewind back on what you said about freedom. You know, you said if freedom is taken away from us, we're unable to be creative. We have to understand why. So when freedom, and what kind of freedom are we talking about here? So freedom, if it's taken away from a government, so government now, let's say the government is locking us all up in our homes, we feel we're not free anymore. Does that mean we cannot be creative? If we are put in jail, for example, for a crime we committed, does that mean we cannot be creative? I feel everything in this world is perception, is how we perceive it, how we perceive our current circumstances and how we perceive ourselves. If we perceive this lockdown as a way that government is taking away from our freedom in a very negative way, you know, we will always blame the government or the world or everything outside of us for our failures or our inability to be creative or to evolve or to do something different. I truly believe everything is perception. So the real question is, I would say it's time to start a perception revolution of ourselves first, before we get into a creative ideology. We need to understand our blocks. I mentioned it at the beginning, and we have so many of them. We have many biases. We have different values. We have different understandings of the world. We have a different brain, wired very differently, and hence makes us perceive things differently and process information differently. So we need to be aware of them. And with all the pressure we're facing and the lack of freedom or the freedom being taken away from us from a tangible perspective, I'm not talking about spiritual freedom. I'm not talking about mental freedom, psychological. I'm talking about tangible freedom, things that are being taken away from you, whether it's losing a job, whether you're being forced into lockdown, whether you have no money, whether your health is deteriorating. These are certain freedoms that are being taken away. First, with all of this, we start to see, and we see it all over the world, racism came up, favoritism came up, extremism is coming up. We see certain elite people have more privileges than others. The poverty gap, the division in society has increased. The middle class is being wiped away, and we're seeing it. So what is all of this? This is all coming from our own biases, our own insecurities, our own issues that we have not tried to fix first. We get angry on the little things. We no longer have patience with anyone. We are unable to communicate our feelings in a non-violent way. We don't know how to do all of this anymore. We don't know how to put ourselves in other people's shoes. We lost that capacity. It's so strange. Because when we are born, we're born empathetic and compassionate. If you see many lab studies on toddlers, 2-year-olds, and they show you of, for example, an adult, he's, for example, holding books, He's trying to put the books in a cupboard, but the cupboard door is closed. And so this adult is holding these books and banging himself in the cupboard door. The little infant, this toddler, who's not even 2 years old, almost 2, comes rushing to open the cupboard for the adult. He's only 2. So what I'm saying here is we are built to help others and to open the door for others and to think about things. This toddler thought somehow that if I go and open the door, I will solve this problem for this adult holding the books.
So we already have this principle, and we just need
we
to
have it built in. But why do you think the World Economic Forum is clearly saying and stating that the skills of the future is not just digital skills or technological skills? It's emotional intelligence, it's creativity, and it's especially critical thinking. Critical thinking, we lost our ability to think clearly. Whenever we invite information in, whether it's from media, whether it's from people, whether it's from books, we are not thinking critically about the information we're consuming. This is the issue. We are believing what is being told to us, and then we are reacting as per this, right? So this is the issue. So I think a creative ideology should and must start from a perception revolution of ourselves and our humanity. And we need to bring back morality, bring back compassion, bring back patience. We need to be patient with one another. We can't expect to change the world if we don't change ourselves. We need to change and be patient with ourselves first. But we need to also explain to people that we are on a journey of change and that we appreciate their patience. And then start that way. And then creative ideology can be born.
That's so true, absolutely. Yeah,
very nicely said, Carine, really.
And also that you mentioned, like this consumerism format of society, which is coming basically to the dead end nowadays. It starts inside ourselves. And the change should start as well from inside of every single person.
Yes.
That's a very powerful message. And actually, I would like to introduce the Creative Ideology Foundation to our viewers. And it's very interesting that you mentioned really very many crucial points mentioned in the description in the article. So the ideology should be aimed to popularizing the best human qualities and stopping everything that is directed against a human. The main priority is the priority of humanity, high spiritual and moral aspirations of a human, humanness, virtue, mutual respect, and strengthening of friendship. Creating conditions for the development and education of a human with a capital H, cultivating moral values in each person and society. Prohibition of propaganda of violence, condemnation and denunciation of any form of division, aggression, and anti-human manifestations. So that's basically, we mentioned today in our conversation so many points from the foundation, the fifth foundation, the Creative Society. And I would like to thank you, Carine, so much for today's conversation, and Sami for co-hosting today. It was such an interesting conversation. I hope that our viewers really liked it, because I saw so many live comments in live chat below this video. And dear viewers, I would like to tell you that if you would like to join the Project Creative Society, it's very easy. Simply visit the webpage allatraunite.com. You'll see the red button, Join Us. Click it. You choose the language you speak and answer how you would like to participate. And then press the button Join. So Actually, it's very easy. We have a lot of things to be done. As Carine mentioned today, if you really want this project to be known to every human being is in the world, it requires our commitment. It requires that we do our best to spread this message. So please send your emails to uae@allatraunites.com if you would like to participate in broadcasts on Allatra TV Middle East. Please don't forget that Allatra TV exists in every single country of this world nowadays, or continent. And if you speak Chinese or Japanese or Italian or Spanish or any other language, please still write us, because we have journalists, volunteer journalists, and TV channels in all countries. And this interview, they are being run daily nowadays. So please, dear viewers, if you don't want to participate in a video interview, but you would like to participate in a podcast, still contact us and we will organize a podcast on Allatra Radio, and send us ideas of how you envision creative society to info@allatraunites.com. So
thank you very much. Thank you very much, viewers, and thank you very much, Carine.
I can't believe it's been 1 hour. I I had no idea it's been 1 hour already.
This is 1 hour with an expert and a almost loving and perfect human being. So we were really lucky along with our guests. Sure, for sure, we've got the best out of you. I don't think you had any more words left.
I do. I still do. I don't stop.
We need to go for another 1 hour, maybe for a round 2.
I'm going to go jogging to release it and leave it for another occasion.
We can organize roundtables and conferences. We continue our discussions, and I'm sure that each of us, we have so much more to say. And with the idea of the project to exchange our opinions and to exchange our experience, to unite it and to bring it forward to the humanity.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Alina. Thank you, Sami. Thank you, Alexi, in the background.
Thank you, guys. If you will share this broadcast in social networks, please use 2 hashtags, #AllatraUnites and #CreativeSociety. And see you tomorrow on Allatra TV Middle East. Thank you, everyone, and bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you.